All right. Welcome, Shed Geeks, to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. We're here today with Jason Graber of Shed Suite. Say hello, Jason.
Yeah, it's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm Kyle Summers. I'm your co-host, and, well, I kind of stole Shannon's thunder there. He's supposed to say that he's the host. So say hi, Shannon.
Hello. You should have gave him a woo.
Woo!
So, we're here at the 2021 Shed Haulers Bash in New Holland, Pennsylvania, and it's been truly inspiring. It's we saw the light show last night. This is our first one, so we didn't make it to Belvedere.
Yeah, I wasn't there either.
Yeah, I heard all about it. I know so many people said they weren't going to make it to this one, and if there's that many not here, I can't imagine how many shed haulers actually exist out there.
I know.
Yeah, we had over 120 rigs in the light show last night.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Like 2.5 miles, I think they said.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
2.5 miles of trucks. So, really, just, I don't know. It's really inspiring. If you're in the shed industry, you know what the shed haulers do for the industry, and it's really important to be at an event like this if you're a hauler, but if you're just involved in any way. So,
So, Jason, you had to, come pretty far, man. You're in Sarasota, right?
I've had a crazy week, actually. Yeah, so I'm from Sarasota, but when Sam invited me up here, I was planning to do a new dealer onboarding in Montana last week, and Sam was like, "Man, you need to make it up to the bash." And so I was like, called the dealer up and said, "Hey, can we schedule that for the next week?" So actually, I left Sarasota on Wednesday morning, flew to Montana, did a dealer training day on Thursday, flew from Montana to Harrisburg Friday night, and was here for the banquet, and then I'm flying home here in about an hour and a half. So
Oh, wow. Where are you flying out of?
Harrisburg.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Back down to Sarasota.
So, if you don't care, man,
Yeah.
tell people that don't know you, tell, a little bit of your history, how, you came into the industry and about, your awesome program that you have there at Shed Suite.
Yeah, thanks, man. So thanks for having me, first of all. But my introduction to the industry was actually back when I was 17 years old. So right out of high school. When I was in high school, I did some construction. And then coming out of high school, I didn't want to go to college, knew that wasn't really for me. And so got an opportunity to be a builder. And builders make great money. Everybody knows that in the shed industry. I mean, you can go to work for a builder and do great. And so I built sheds for about 3.5 years for a company called Graceland there in South Carolina. And during that was in 2009-ish. And then I got a chance to move to Florida. So building sheds, I started to kind of work my way up a little bit. I became a bay manager. And then my uncle asked me, "Hey, would you like to move to Florida to help manage a manufacturing facility, like the whole shop?" It's like, "Oh, that would be better than being a bay manager." So I moved to Florida in 2012, and I was the shop manager for Weather King. They had about 5 shops, and I was the one in Florida there. Was in charge of keeping all the inventory, doing all the hiring for the builders, doing the quality control, basically running the shop there. And during that time, I was having a really hard time with getting the floor plans from the dealers. When I would get the orders, the orders would come in with drawings that were drawn on napkins, and I'm like, "Man, how do you build this, right?" So it inspired my first company, which was 3dshedbuilder.com. So we created that. I just kind of bootstrapped that while I was managing the shop there, and got that to a place where I was able to license that to a couple companies. And so I licensed that product to Weather King and Dirksen. And they're still using the product today, but we signed exclusivity, so they didn't want me to sell it to competition, which was fantastic because it got me off the ground. It got that company going. And that was in 2015. And so we built that product for 2 years. And then I found my co-founder, and in 2017, we founded Shed Suite. And, Shed Suite was my kind of original vision. I wanted to have an all-encompassing business management program for shed companies. 3D Shed Builder was great in that it helped the customer design the shed, and it outputted a floor plan, which was really nice for the shop, but it didn't really do a lot for the driver or for anybody else. So Shed Suite was kind of born out of that this is what I really want to build. And of course, we wanted to provide it to anybody. We don't want exclusivity or areas or whatever. So in 2017, we started it, and in the fall of 2017, we got our first customer. We went to the shed show in September of 2017, and it kind of kicked us off. We got about 20 or 30 requests or inquiries there, and I did demos, and we onboarded our second company there in October, and then from there we grew about 80% in 2020. So we started off the year with about 20 companies, and we ended with about 40, close to it.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're servicing about 45 companies now, all across the U.S. We've got the first one away is Alaska. We've got a company in Alaska, which is pretty cool. So,
you make that trip often?
No, I have not driven or flown to Alaska. So. Yeah.
So I remember talking to you in the past, and you said when you started your 3D builder, the generator type thing, you talked to the guys over there, and you said, "Let me sell your buildings for a year," right?
Yeah.
Or something similar to that.
That was a really interesting.
So I can show you the value in this.
It was pretty neat. So when I designed the 3D shed builder for Weather King, they licensed it, and I set up all their dealers on it. And at that point, I was a subcontractor already. I wasn't working for Weather King. I was working for them as a subcontractor. And there was a local dealership right there in Sarasota that was selling Weather King sheds. They weren't doing a great job at it. They were a landscaping company that wasn't their primary focus. And so I called up the dealer there and said, "Hey, what would you say if I came to your location and worked from your location and just took over all the shed sales for you?" He was like, "Man, that'd be awesome. Come do that. My secretary's overloaded already." So he gave me an office. It was a 12 by 16 shed, so I worked out of a shed. It was amazing. And yeah, I sold sheds out of that location using the 3D Shed Builder program, which was great in the fact that I had my co-founder and developer sitting beside me, listening to the conversations that I was having in sales, talking about runners and talking about LP siding and talking about the colors and the roofs and all this stuff. And, for my engineer to hear that kind of subconsciously and be able, so he has a really deep understanding of the shed industry, the product, the process of, getting that sale from the dealer to the manufacturer to the driver. So that was really valuable, and that's what we took into Shed Suite. So he was the co-founder in Shed Suite, and so he came in with this really deep understanding of the shed industry, which, in my opinion, I think is really what's propelled our success.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So ironically, we had maybe then a similar start. Well, first I wanted to touch on 2017. Was that the Hopkinsville?
Yeah, that was in Kentucky.
We were there.
Yeah.
So just a shout out for those who are continuing to aspire in the industry, either as a builder, sales professional, a hauler, whatever it is that you're doing. Me and Kyle were there at the show in Hopkinsville.
Yep.
And I remember walking around, and we were like one of the only dealers there at the time, and we were soaking it all in.
Yep.
But what was amazing about it was how the industry sort of just brought you in. On another note, I actually started with Graceland in procurement.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, so I started as a procurement coordinator, and then I took some time away and did like some faith-based rehabilitation ministry work, and then ultimately me and Kyle ended up back in the shed business whenever we opened a lot. So I appreciate that we have that in common.
That is really neat.
If
that
nothing
is really
else.
Cool. We might have even been working for Graceland at the same time.
Maybe 2014, 2015.
Yeah, it had been a little after. I think I left in 2009.
Okay, yeah, I came after.
Yeah.
I have. So I didn't grow up in the shed industry, but I'm growing up now in the shed industry. And what's amazing is we talk about all the time, like the family, like friendly environment. Like we're experiencing that here. We experienced that in Hopkinsville, in Cincinnati. We can't wait till Michigan show comes around this year. But it really is taking on this industry like setting that's people can grab a hold to. This it's not just fly by night now, and seeing what things like Shed Suite is bringing to this robust program that offers this like so many factions of help to those. If you're a hauler, if you're a builder, if you're in sales, we're just seeing more of this, right? And with the growth, you've seen in 2020, how many lots have we went to, builders, haulers have we talked to that says, yeah, I was busier in 2020 than ever.
Yeah,
Yep.
almost all of ours.
And 2021's not slowing down.
No.
I mean, price of lumber is going up, but there are sales out there
Yeah.
just wild right now.
Yeah, this month is, and it's interesting because we're starting to see, bigger kind of trends because we have so many companies using our tool now, and just seeing the volume. We're able to kind of see slow seasons and busy seasons, and we noticed last year April was a really big month, and it's the same this year. April, biggest month ever. So it's really cool, and I'm hoping as we go, the more people that are using Shed Suite, the more valuable information that we can share anonymously with the shed industry, and kind of hey guys, we've seen that the industry as a whole is really busy in April. You guys should make sure you have enough lumber, make sure you've got your inventory backed up, and we can help people with that kind of anonymous data. And that's what I'm interested in doing, and I think that's helping the whole industry. It's really cool.
No, that's awesome. If you don't care, we're at the Shed Haulers Bash, right? So we got to talk a little bit of haulers.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any funny stories, or do you have anything that in your past dealing with a hauler that that's a good story to say clean on the air here?
Shed hauler sometimes it's not the cleanest. I'm trying to think. When I was a dealer, I dealt with the shed hauler that was bringing my inventory and delivering my sheds. His name was Chris, and great guy. Still hauls, I think, in Florida. But yeah, I mean, there's so many. It's just crazy. Down there in Florida, I think the biggest thing that you run into is, people don't understand that you can actually get a building in your backyard, and they're like, the mule is the biggest thing that people just don't understand. Like, what's a mule?
Yeah.
It's like, no, literally, we can offload the shed in the street, and we can take it through your gate into your backyard. And I think so many people are just pretty amazed at that.
Yeah, it's funny. When we were in the industry selling, like we would talk about that, right? And the customers didn't understand, I don't think, but we would go along with some deliveries. We'd do some escort driving and stuff like that. But once the guy got the mule off, everyone in the whole community just stopped and stared and watched this dude.
It's entertaining.
Pick
right?
up a shed,
that's
put
what
wheels under
outside.
it. Yeah,
they're just like, there's probably 300 people out there watching these drivers, and man, they're talented. It's crazy. I mean, they are able to move those sheds into some pretty crazy places.
So the driver is the last point of contact, for the customer.
Yep.
So I always think about the importance of what the driver's doing from a customer service perspective. They make or break.
Yeah.
Not only sales, but potential leads, referrals. They do a lot.
Yeah.
As they're there with that customer and they're setting that building, and they're leaving them with that, I'm glad that I purchased this.
Yep.
Because if you're in sales, that's what you're attempting to do. You want to sell something that sticks. You want to sell something that they are satisfied with, something they're happy with, and they have a use for. And the driver, the hauler, certainly has such a impact on what type of relationship the business is going to have. Always found that to be very encouraging when we dealt with drivers who were just on top of their game from a customer service perspective. It sort of lends itself in hauling to just focus on, hey, I just want to get out here, get it set, maybe look for that unicorn, that concrete pad, that nice level pad, and but the reality is, whatever you're facing as a hauler, it doesn't matter if you're having to block this thing, spend a couple hours out there. What really matters is how you leave the customer. Yep. So that's one thing that I always took away from. I appreciated the haulers that we worked with. Yeah. We actually are still really good friends with most anybody who hauled a building. One of the guys actually hauled a building to my house. That's what we normally do the podcast out of.
Okay.
I actually work in a portable building behind my house. So there's where the podcast comes from. So we say we're shed geeks, like we mean it. We try to, we're sponges. We try to take all this in. Shed Suite's part of that.
Yeah, we really are. We're excited about, what we're trying to build is, we're in a lot of ways, when people move from a paper system to a software system, they get sometimes discouraged, and they're like, well, it's not as flexible as I'm used to. Like I can't do these things. I'm used to being able to just white out this phone number and I can just change it. Well, software is not, it's not as flexible as paper, but it also helps in a lot of ways that paper isn't able to help. And so we're trying to put together the best practices in a lot of ways. And so when you get Shed Suite, it's not just, hey, here's a software program. It's like, we work with a lot of companies. We ask a ton of questions. We're asking drivers, how do you deliver sheds? How do you schedule sheds? What do you need for tools, and what's the workflows and the processes? So when you get Shed Suite, it's almost like years of research and helping you actually, it's a consultant almost, and helping you run your company. And I think that's so cool. It's not just, here's a tool, go use it. We've actually done a lot of the work trying to figure out what is the best workflow here. So that's really cool, because our software is not designed, we've got companies that ask, hey, can we, do whatever, play sets and gazebos, and like, yeah, you could, but it's Shed Suite, right? Shed Suite. We're not designing it for that. The shed industry is big enough that we can easily be profitable just by servicing that industry.
Yep.
So many people are asking us, what are you going to do next? I'm like, no, we haven't served the shed industry yet. So
I definitely would have been the harder customer. So me and Kyle, knowing each other for as long as we have now, so I'm the guy who's like, what's wrong with a pen and paper?
Yeah.
And writing it down. And he's like, let me show you what's wrong with it. And then he explains it. And whenever it's friendly and it's user friendly and you're able to see it and expose yourself to it, you begin to really see the benefits of what technology is doing in the shed industry in particular. So yeah, I would have been like your more difficult customer that said, oh, I can write it down and I can do this. And that's all true. But there's oftentimes the refusal to change. You'll lose some benefit through that process. It doesn't mean that you won't still succeed. It just means that you may lose some other, perks or opportunities through that process. Yeah. And I've been a victim of that, getting in my own way because of for me, it's been my stubbornness and my like unwillingness to say, let me expand into this. Yeah. It actually makes it easier. So you think, why would I do something that makes it more difficult? And then once you learn it, you go, why haven't I done this for so long?
We hear that all the time. We're like, oh, we don't do that process that way. We do it this other way. And I say, well, that's okay, and it does work. But if you try this way, I'd be interested to hear your feedback. And when they come back with, man, you're right, this other workflow is a little bit better. And usually the response is, man, I'm glad we're doing it this way now. So.
Tell us a little bit about the bash. Is this the first bash you've been to,
it
right?
Is.
So
it is actually.
It's kind of the first bash that we've also been to as well.
Yeah.
Tell me, I guess in your own words, Sam, you know Jason, you know these guys, right?
Yep.
What they mean for the whole business in general, for the whole industry.
Yeah. I mean, I look at Sam. I mean, we know his nickname, Sam Ambassador. I just look at him as the connector. I mean, he's just great at connecting people, putting people in touch with the right people. So, I think his passion is really to, RTO companies need drivers. They need people to pick up their RTO returns, and drivers need work. And so he's trying to just put all these pieces together. And so doing an event for the drivers is just so cool, because they're a lot of times, like you said, they're kind of underappreciated. They're kind of, well, the shed got delivered, great.
Yep.
But that's a lot of work that goes into delivering a shed. So I think that, this event is really just to acknowledge them and to appreciate them and to actually just bring awareness to their actual talents and to their abilities and what they're actually out there doing. And so I think that's really, really cool.
And we talk about, the shed hauler brotherhood. It really is a brotherhood, right? I mean, these guys, we were in here last night, and it's like everyone's family, and there's so many different people around that from different walks of life, but everyone last night got together, had fun, good, clean fun. We'll we'll wrap this part up if you don't care, but tell everyone like where they can go to look up, Shed Suite, what they need to do to get a demo or do something for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Demos are usually what we do. It's easier for me to jump on a live Google meeting and just show you what the software can do. So, of course, you can just Google us, Shed Suite. ShedSuite.com is our website. There is a demo request form you can fill out there. You'll get an email with a link to schedule a demo. And try to do demos on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But yeah, we'll spend an hour together, and we walk through. The biggest thing I want to do is learn about your company, and I can right away tell you. And your time's valuable. Everybody's time's valuable. I can tell them right away, Shed Suite was designed for you, or it wasn't designed for you.
Yep.
And then if it is, hey, let me show you what it can do, and so you have the information you need to make an educated decision. So yeah, go into our website, sign up for a demo. That's the best way to kind of check it out and get more information.
Awesome. Shannon, you have anything
check
to
them out. Make sure to Google them, check them out. We have this phrase that we've called, I don't know if you've heard the episode yet, but we always entitle like Sam a Shedlebrity.
Yeah.
So we're bestowing the Shedlebrity status upon Jason Graber today.
Yes.
And labeling him a shed geek.
Nice. I'll take it.
All right. We appreciate you joining us today here at the 2021 Shed Haulers Bash. Wish you lots of success, Godspeed with everything you're doing. Let us know if we can help in any way.
We appreciate
it.
It's been great being here.
Thanks,
you.
Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you.